Hey guys, Noah from American Trucks here, and today I'm speaking with Christian about his Ram 1500. Christian, how's it going today?
Good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. We really appreciate taking the time to do this. Just for the people at home, he has a 2018 Ram 1500 Sport Crew Cab with the 20x10 Anthem Avenger wheels, gloss black with a negative 18mm offset, and that wheel and tire combo together gives this F-150 an aggressive stance. And then for tires, he has a 37" by 12.5" R20 Dick CPEC Extreme Country tire, and for suspension, it's a Superlift 6" lift kit. So just as a whole, why did you go with this setup?
For me, I didn't really want anything too big, too aggressive. I just wanted a little bit of a lifted ride. I wanted to keep it clean. I didn't want to go anything extravagant. And to me, that was just the best look I could feel I can grab without rubbing or anything.
So are you using this setup mostly on-road, mostly off-road, or a bit of both?
A little bit of both. I'm in the oil and gas industry, so sometimes I have to take it on pad. For the most part, I have a trailer on it, mostly on-road, like my side-by-side, towing it around.
So let's go ahead and move on to the wheels. It's a 20" by 10" Anthem Avenger wheel, gloss black with a negative 18mm offset. And that wheel and tire combo gives this F-150 an aggressive stance. Why did you choose this wheel?
When I read up on Anthem, I liked their whole backstory for their wheels, and I was just going through them. And I saw that one, it just grabbed my attention, and then I was like, all right, I'll keep that in the back of my mind. And for some reason, I kept coming back to it, so that's why I made my final decision. I did a little bit more research on what was going to fit on the truck before we went any further.
Is there any particular reason you went with the gloss black over the matte black version?
I actually have a 2008 Jeep Wrangler that went with the Fuel Salt wheels, and I had the matte black on there. I didn't like how it the test of time scratched up a little bit, and with the tint on the windows, gloss black to me looked a little bit better with it.
Why did you go with the 20 by 10? Any specific reason you went with that size?
I wouldn't say any specific reason. I don't like a huge wheel. Like, I'd rather a little bit more meat on the tire. So for me, the sweet spot with a 37 was about a 20" wheel.
Now that 10" width of the wheel paired with the negative 18mm offset does give the Ram an aggressive stance. Why did you go with that size combo?
I like the aggressive stance because I think we would classify that one as what, 1 inch outside the fender well. I don't like a whole lot of tread sticking out because it just, again, causes issues down the road. You might have a rub here and there. But for me, I just like a little bit of a more wider stance, but nothing too crazy.
So would you say that you're happy with the size of the sidewall then with the 20" wheel and the 37" tire?
Yes, I don't like having a big side, or don't not like having a big sidewall in case you rub a curb or anything like that. I'd rather chew up a little bit on tire than screw my entire wheel.
Okay, let's move on to tires then. It's a 37" by 12.5" R20 Dick CPEC Extreme Country tire. Any particular reason you went with this tire?
Again, I had the same tire on my Jeep. I fell in love with them when I was from West Virginia for a while. Spent 5 years down there, and we would go mudding a little bit onto some rocks. Never failed me. Overall, if you can rotate them, they're not a very noisy tire.
Then is there a reason that you went with that company even on that previous ride you were talking about?
I do take a trip down to North Carolina every year, so we usually ride on the beach in the sand. And just from talking to other guys that like to do that too, they never had an issue with them. So that was kind of bringing me back to it. They like the ride quality. I just like their build quality. I like the name for the brand.
Is there a reason you went with a 37" tire, if not a 35, or even stepping it up to a 40? Were you stuck at 37 for a reason?
I didn't like the look of the 35" tires on for a 6" lift. For me, it just felt like there was just a little bit missing whenever I saw the fender gap between the wheel. I was like, there's a price difference between the two, but I like the whole look of the 37 instead.
Did you need to calibrate your truck for the larger tire? Like, does it feel more sluggish? Is the speedometer off really far?
For the sport model, it came with a 392 in the rear end. So when I looked up the gear chart, it really didn't make too much of a difference. I have the Diablo tuner, so speedometer's right there where it should be. For other modifications, I did the ECM tuner, the whole 9 yards, so it changed my shift points.
So let's go ahead and move on to suspension. You have a Superlift 6" lift kit. Why'd you choose this kit in particular?
Oh, it couldn't be any simpler. I saw it was on sale, and then I read up about them, and just no complaints for them. They said they took them off-roading in the mud and everything else. I'm like, all right, I'll give these guys a chance. Had no issues with it, loved it, so we just went with it.
Is there a reason you went with the 6" lift in particular?
For me, I know I didn't like the 35s with the 6" lift, so if I was going to do 37s was my plan. And to be honest, the kit costed about the same for 4" versus 6". I'm like, if I can do a 37, that's the look I wanted with the 6" lift. So,
do you have any other suspension additions that we didn't talk to? Like, did you need to add anything to help any rub, any control arms, anything like that?
No, as it came, it's perfectly fine. My train of thought is if something ends up wearing or going bad, then I can upgrade. But I've had this lift kit on there for about 2 years now. Everything's still fine, even ball joints, which I was surprised about.
You did have some fitment issues. What did you end up trimming?
There is a black valance cover underneath the front bumper, and it's just a fin for like an air dam. And you can either trim it or you could just take it off. There's really no problem with it. But after you trim it, you can't even really tell it's there.
Just looking back on your setup, is there anything that you would have done different?
For me, I just like the appearance on it. I don't want to try to make it something extravagant. Like, this is the only truck like this. I just want a clean ride, something I could take on the weekend, have fun. I could still turn heads when I clean it up. I like the lift kit. With a different brand name, maybe. Other than that, I'm happy with everything I chose.
Now, do you have any future plans for this build?
I entertained the thought of having a supercharger. Was it towards Christmas? Torque Storm was making a deal. I'm like, ooh. But yeah, it might be in the future some boost.
Thank you for doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the time.
I'm just gonna run through everything again. It's a 2018 Ram 1500 Sport Crew Cab with 20-inch by 10-inch Anthem Avenger wheels, gloss black with a negative 18mm offset. And that wheel and tire combo gives this F-150 an aggressive stance. For tires, it's 37-inch by 12.5-inch R20 Dick CPEC Extreme Country tires. And for suspension, it's a Superlift 6-inch lift kit. For all things Ram, remember to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.